For BWYellowJackets.com, I'm Brendan Gulick. Let's talk about the women's basketball season. Can't believe it's almost time to hit the hard court. We're here with one of the more veteran head coaches, not just in our athletic department, but across the entire conference, Sherry Harrer, whose Yellow Jackets were just picked first in the preseason poll this week by the league coaches. So certainly some expectations across the league. Lofty goals, I imagine, that everybody's looking forward to, and I have to imagine you're excited for the start of the season. What most excites you about this time of year?
Just the newness. The kids are excited. They're coming to practice every day and getting after it. So it's always fun. It's a fun time of year to coach because generally the energy is really good, and all we have to do is worry about coaching the X's and O's and trying to put things together.
I don't want to talk too much about graduations from a year ago because I want to focus on this year's team, but what do you hope this senior class this year learned from the senior class last year?
I think they learned a lot, not necessarily from the senior class last year, but from the situations they found themselves in last year. We had a lot of off-court stuff that found its way into the locker room. And I think it was a big learning experience for everyone, for all those returners, to see how that impacted what did happen on the court and to not allow that to happen again. So they've been very focused on trying to bring things together from the beginning.
How about with regard to the young ladies that you do have coming back? Let's start with Hannah Fecht. I mean, gosh, she's been one of the best three-point shooters in the conference ever since she stepped on the floor here at BW, and now she is in as big a leadership role as you've had her at any point. Where has she most grown in your eyes?
Defensively. She was dreadful as a freshman on the defensive end, and she's really she's a good athlete, and she's really taken hold of being good as a defender as well.
How about the rest of the senior class? It feels like you've got some balance because you're deep at guard and you're deep in the post.
Yeah. Rachel's the supreme organizer as a leader. She's doing a great job kind of being that team mom. We're still figuring out what's going on the court as far as roles are going, and then Mackenzie Matthews is just such a vocal leader, and I have a niece that has watched us play a couple times, and number 3 is her favorite player because the energy she always has on the bench, and kudos to Mac for always bringing it.
I think some of the younger players the last couple years now, like Riley Schill, for example, right? She's healthy, she looks good, she's got the energy. Casey Hughes, same way. Yeah, right. Yeah, knock on wood. But it's been fun to watch some of those players develop and grow. Why do you think other coaches look at your program right now and say that might be the team to win the league?
We do have some kids that are good athletes, and what they don't know is how hard some of those kids have worked to become better players. Riley Schill has become a very good three-point shooter right now, and if she can add that to her game, it really opens some things up for us. But I think it's just we had that group of sophomores and even some freshmen who now are a little bit older, and I think they're looking at that group, especially the kids that are juniors right now. And then you add Mary Schenner and Sydney Diedrich and Gabby Garrett to that mix, and gives us a really good nucleus of good athletes who are pretty good basketball players coming back.
You do have one addition to the coaching staff this year. Amanda Berchtold has joined the staff. Can you tell us a little bit about her background and what you think she's going to bring?
She brings a lot of energy. She played point guard at Gannon. Already went and got her master's, so she's ahead of the curve with that part of it. But just that she's done a great job, and our kids have really appreciated it so far. She pulls kids to the side and gives them little tips and pointers individually. So she and Coach Barker, Ashley Barker from Marietta, is also helping us. Those two have been great about kind of coaching up the individuals, which allows Coach Hartzler and I to really focus on the team aspects in practice.
The season's going to begin here basically in 2 weeks. You've got a non-conference home game early on against Washington and Jefferson, which should be a fun barometer against another team in the region. You play St. Vincent early on. You play Rochester. Boy, they're good every year. Mm-hmm. I know it's challenging in the OAC because you play 18 games against your conference to put together what you hope is a non-conference challenging schedule that can increase your strength of schedule at the end of the year. Those are things that all coaches think about. So what goes into that process? Because sometimes these games are scheduled a couple years out.
Yeah, well, they are scheduled. We scheduled these games before we played a game last year. So, I felt like that sophomore group, they're now juniors, that we could challenge them a little bit more. So we looked for some tougher games. And, even later we go to Hope's tournament and we're playing Thomas More to start off with. So we got a challenge, and what's tough is hard to predict what's going to happen in the league at that same time. So we got a brutal non-league. And then if you look at the league, I think 5 teams got votes to win it. And then you have the defending champion who didn't get any votes to win it, but they were still picked third. So legitimately you could say at least 6 teams people think could win the league this year. That's a brutal schedule.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt the OAC's depth has gotten better and better in women's basketball the last couple years. The last thing I want to ask you, and maybe you're still learning this, but what do you hope the style of play you're going to see from this team is?
We want to be up-tempo. We're trying to pick up a little bit more full court, just again to increase that tempo, but we think one of our advantages is depth, and we want to use that depth and hopefully make other people either play with tired starters or get into their bench as well.
The Yellow Jackets have high expectations for the 2018-2019 season. We'll follow you step for step. Good luck.
Thanks, Brendan.
All right, more next time on BWYellowJackets.com.